Hey guys, it's Lena B, and today I'm going to be showing you all the tips, tricks, and secrets for a silk press on natural hair. So as you can see, this beauty has natural hair. It hasn't been relaxed in over 4 years. The first thing you want to do is use a thermal heat protectant. And you're just going to spray this all over her head. To try and tackle the whole head at once. You always want to work in sections when you're working with natural hair. Always split it down the middle, and then I'll make another part from ear to ear, dividing it into 4 even sections. Sometimes you might have to do a lot of finger work and not necessarily use your comb. Because their hair is natural, it might be a little tangly, so just take your time and work through it. After you have all the sections divided, you want to make sure that you're evenly distributing the product. I did use cheap products for the silk press on her hair. I used a silk infusion there. As you can see, I used a dime size amount of the silk infusion and then a dime size amount of their silkening cream, and I'm just going to put that on each section. And as I work my way through, you're going to notice that I am going to use my paddle brush. You want to make sure that you have a paddle brush when you're working with natural hair. So I'm going to use the paddle brush and I'm going to detangle as I work my way through each section. You always want to start from the bottom of the hair and work your way up when you're detangling. All right, now we're gonna I'm gonna start on the blow drying. The blow dry as well as the product is very, very important. Again, you want to use your paddle brush because if you've worked with natural hair, you know that their hair tangles very easily. So you always want to keep your paddle brush handy and work your way through the hair. And on your blow dryer, you always want to make sure you have an attachment. The attachment is going to make sure that the airflow is being directed in one place versus blowing all over their head and drying it out before you get to the sections needed. So you take your paddle brush and your blow dryer and you still work your way from the bottom to the scalp of the hair as you're working through. After I use my paddle brush, you're going to notice that I'm going to use a round brush. And when I use the round brush, it may look simple, but you want to make sure that you practice. If you've never used a round brush, see that extra curl at the scalp? This round brush is going to take that crinkle out. It's going to stretch that hair out and get it straight before you even start the flat iron. And this part is very, very important. The straighter you can get it with the blow dryer, the easier your work is going to be for you. And so you just kind of gripping the hair with the round brush and you're stretching it out while you're putting the heat from the blow dryer on it. But again, you definitely want to practice using a round brush if you've never had experience using one, because the hair can get tangled and caught inside the round brush and you don't want that. And you're going to notice that over half the work is going to be done once you're finished if you give your client a good blow dry. And you'll even see some of the shine coming through just from the blow dryer from the products that were used. Everything you do on one section, of course, you want to do on all 4 sections. The chair she's sitting in is kind of rocking back, so I'm really not putting much tension on her hair at all. And guys, just notice how straight it's going to be just from the blow dry. If doing the 4 sections seems like it's still a lot of hair, you can always break those sections into smaller sections and work the hair that way. Sometimes, depending on the texture of the hair, it can seem like it's a bit much, so you can always break it down into smaller sections, but 4 sections is definitely the minimum that you want to go with. Again, you'll notice that I start from the bottom and work my way up to the scalp area. You never want to just start at the scalp and pull down to the ends. And if you'll notice, I keep going through with my fingers to kind of feel and see how straight it's getting. If I think that it's a little too curly, then I'll still go back in. That's when you'll see me go back in with the blow dryer and the round brush to kind of stretch it out a little bit more. So same thing on this final side. You don't need me to talk you through it. It's the same thing we did for the other 3 sections. See, it's straight and it's silky already, and we haven't even touched it with the flat iron. This is the Kenya Moore growth serum. If you notice at the beginning, she had a little bit of damage from doing self-care at home. So the Kenya Moore health system kind of revives the ends or damaged ends of your hair. So I just put a dime size amount of that through her hair. But if you have healthy hair, for the most part, I won't use that, but she did have damage, so I did use that in her hair, just a dime size amount. And then we're going to go through, and now we're going to start straightening. The first iron I'll use is just a 1/2 inch iron. I don't have a particular brand that I think is better than another, but the one that I'll be using is the Celia C-Shape Way Down. They should be full of bounce, body, and shine. Just like with any other service, when you're working with your clients, you should really do a consultation. That way you can determine the type of texture of their hair, the coarseness or thickness, and that way you can determine the heat range that you'll use when it comes to your straighteners and your heating tools like your flat iron, or if you use a pressing comb. You always want to first determine their texture of their hair and the porosity. See how fluffy and lightweight that is? That's how you want your silk press to be. When the wind blows, her hair should just move all over. And if you paid attention in the beginning, like I said, she did have damage from doing self-care. She's a college student, so she has to take care of her own hair when she's away. So we're just going to trim off those ends that were kind of neglected. Yeah, on this part, we're just going to do the final touches. I did cut a few layers in her front area, and we're just going to curl it going away from the face. And I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial today. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Facebook, hair_baptism by Lena, on Instagram at hair_baptism. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.